Taurus, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements so that you can receive all your messages. And if you're interested in a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. All right, my friends, let's get started for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What is the guidance for Taurus for the week ahead? Okay, Taurus. Interesting. Okay, we see the Two of Pentacles coming out with the Queen of Swords coming out together. So that tells me that you're seeking the truth on something. You're looking at something to try to understand it in a balanced way logically. You've got the Two of Pentacles here, so you are juggling things. You are looking at things that may be in polarity. You're looking at things that are polarized and trying to see, well, what's the truth? What fits for me? Where do I feel a resonance between these two things that I'm either choosing between or looking at? Where do I want to put my focus? Am I looking at something here that is very attractive to me in one way and something that's attractive in another way, and I'm trying to decide where I want to invest my time and energy? It could also be that you're trying to sever the connection between something and something else. I'm sort of getting this interesting visual of the Queen of Swords cutting some red tape and freeing you from things that may be distracting you or taking your attention away from something and maybe refocusing it on something else. This seems to be a time where you're seeking clarity, Taurus, and you're trying to find a direction to build a foundation on. So you're needing to decide where to invest your time and energy, where you feel grounded and stable and secure, and where you feel stagnation potentially. So it almost feels like this Queen of Swords energy is you cutting through the red tape and cutting your way into clarity by removing distractions, by removing illusions, by removing polarization of your attention. You might be really focusing this week, Taurus, on something that feels like you want to build a foundation upon it and expand it and add movement. There's the Chariot. So you're looking at leaving something and moving towards something else. The Chariot is leaving the city. It's leaving the city. The Chariot is out of there and it's moving into a more high vibe location. So you could be leaving behind distraction, or even I'm sensing that you might be bored of something, or you might be tired of something, or no longer feeling excited by something, which is almost your energy's way of saying this chapter is almost finished. Let's wrap it up and get started on something new. And you might be playing tug of war right now between those two energies, still trying to find your footing and your grounding and where you're off to. But I feel like you're definitely making a move. Some of you could actually be moving from a location. You might be moving jobs. You might be moving cities. You might be moving residents. You might just be moving in a sense of you're no longer putting energy into this pot. You're putting it into this pot. And that in itself is you seeking your own personal direction and truth. Interesting cards starting your reading here. We're seeing Libra energy, Cancer energy, and Capricorn energy here, which is interesting because those are all cardinal signs. So you're really determined to embody something that feels like you. Is what I'm feeling here. Six of Cups coming out tells me this is somehow healing something for you that is an emotional wound, perhaps on the inner child level, perhaps it's something from your past that sort of is like triggering this. Something in your inner child is saying, we need to refocus. Something in your past wounding or past experience is guiding you that it's time to make a change. There is something deep within, Taurus, that seems to be guiding you to make a shift or a change at this time. And we're seeing Judgment on the bottom of the deck, which is a confirmation to me that this is self-realization. This is an awakening of a new pathway, and you're in the grips of trying to figure it out right now. But energetically, it's here. Energetically, it's already here. And it might be an emotional moment as well as a logical moment, as well as a moment that is very material in this reality. So it's interesting. That's what it makes me feel like. This could be that you're moving away from something that's in the material world, but it's sort of being initiated on an emotional, logical level that also sort of feels like it's divinely timed. It's happening now to change your direction and path. And there's the Death card hanging out behind Judgment, which is so fitting, because I think this is going to be sort of creating sudden change in your life. And seeing the Death card in reverse tells me that you may hang on into this red tape a little bit. You might not be wanting to transition so quickly into this path, even though I think intuitively you feel guided to. There may be a part of you, the Taurus part of you, sort of going, well, wait a minute, we have to get all of our ducks in a row here. I need to have a plan B. I need to know that this is secure. I need to sort of anticipate and plan. There may be a part of you sort of really doing a lot of that right now, even though I think energetically it almost feels like your inner self has spoken already and said, this is where we need to go next. And this is the move we need to make now. You know what I mean? Very interesting. Let's clarify some of these cards for you. Parting the cards, we see the Eight of Pentacles and the World. So that to me kind of really suggests that this has something to do with your work-life balance. This has something to do with how you receive money for effort. This is something you do, and you're looking at whether or not the cycle is finished. If you've come to a natural conclusion to something that you've become a master at, and now it's time to start something new. Very interesting confirmation there. Okay, let's see here. The Two of Pentacles. Let's have a look and clarify that, please. Yeah, Nine of Swords. So this is causing you some anxiety, to say the least. You may be sort of thinking to yourself too much about the consequences of leaving behind something that has been well established to build the foundation on something new. You might be feeling like, this could have an outcome that could lead to more stress for you. And perhaps I should stay where I am because at least it's the devil I know, even though I feel naturally that this cycle is complete. You could be stressing yourself out by seeking only confirmation through the senses of your logic, as opposed to trusting your will and trusting your emotions and your intuition. And the timing of this is not a coincidence, Taurus. And so you might be spending too much time in the logic center, and it's starting to make you focus on all of the things that could go wrong instead of all of the wonderful things that could actualize as a result of this directional change. So very interesting, something to keep in mind as you're thinking so much. Now, seeing the Chariot come out next in reverse tells me that you could get stuck here. So that is a caution right now. This is your first sort of caution here, is don't get stuck here. And don't also get stuck emotionally, because that might be one of the obstacles as well, is that you might feel very loyal to what you're doing now or where you're doing whatever you're doing. And you might be thinking, well, I can't possibly let those people down. And what if it doesn't work out? What if I leave and nothing works out for me? And then you get stuck. And the Chariot, which appeared upright initially, is now reversed. So this is telling me that by overthinking this, and by not trusting yourself, you could get stuck and then feel like, I don't know what to do. So overthinking isn't going to be your best friend on this journey. It could actually be sort of sabotaging you a little bit. Yeah, there's the Empress in reverse as well. So that says to me, don't rely on just one aspect of yourself to make this move. Really bring together body, mind, and spirit. Bring all of your senses online for this, and trust the wisdom of your body. Because I feel like if you focus on whatever two paths are ahead of you right now, one of them is going to feel like the right path, and you might need to sort of clear out any fear of looking at this objectively without judgment to see where it feels like you're being guided to go next, and where creation awaits you, because I feel like you're going to be carving out this new path. There's the Four of Swords. Yeah, put your mind to rest. Allow yourself to recover from any overthinking, because that's not going to get you any closer to understanding this. I feel like you almost need to just trust yourself from what I'm seeing here, without overthinking, without over planning, and without over anticipating negative outcomes. Because that, again, it feels like that grounds your energy immediately and you get stuck. It doesn't ground you in a good way. It grounds you in a way that you feel stuck and that you can't move forward with the plans or ideas that you feel inspired to take next. So bottom of the deck is the Hermit, which tells me that you need to reflect on this from a higher perspective. Try not to look at it too closely, because that could be what initiates this overthinking, over planning, and over anticipation of negative outcomes, or outcomes that are not desirable or satisfying to you. So it's interesting. This is really guiding you to maybe reflect on this from multiple perspectives, and doing so from a perspective that says, I can overcome obstacles. As I was shuffling these cards out, I kept seeing the Strength card on the bottom of the deck for you. So really trusting that you can tame that inner critic to say, no, we got this. I can do this. And if I feel guided to do this, or if I feel inspired to do this, there's a reason for that. And maybe I just need to look at it from a different perspective in order to set myself free from these limited beliefs. All right, let's see. What does Taurus need to surrender or surrender to when it comes to this moment? What does Taurus need to surrender or surrender to? Oh boy, you got so many cards coming out. Let's shuffle that again and see which ones come out. Surrender or surrender to. I like it. Surrender to what is. So it says here, flow with what is instead of fighting it. Absolutely. This Nine of Swords is you fighting it. Don't fight it. Go with it. When you can't change a situation compassionately, accept it exactly as it is, and go from there. Accept it as it is. If you're feeling like you're in a space that's stagnating, don't try to change it. Don't try to bring it back somehow. Perhaps it feels stagnant because it's reached that natural conclusion, and it's time to do something new. It's time to reinvent yourself. Ooh, so many of these surrender cards coming out for you. Interesting. We're seeing surrender defensiveness. So perhaps there is a more empowered way to look at this situation. You might get defensive listening to this reading and thinking, I can't just go for it. This is my livelihood. If I make the wrong step, it could be catastrophic. And that defensiveness sometimes leaves us really closed off, right? Really closed off and not feeling empowered in our own self to do different things. So that to me suggests the same thing that you're getting in this reading is put your mind to rest. You could be overthinking, over planning, over catastrophizing with this Nine of Swords. And you could be almost defensive against any communication that tries to empower you to try to surrender to what is. You might find yourself getting your back up, which is a signal to me that more reflection is required, more sort of looking at things from a different perspective, not just from the perspective of what if it fails. That can't be the only possibility. There's a myriad, infinite possibilities of how this could all happen for you. And it really feels like it's leveling you up when I see that Chariot and the Judgment card. This is a new evolution of you. This is a new timeline. This is a new process. This is you starting something from the beginning after having been very I almost feel like when we saw that Eight of Pentacles when I cut the deck, this is something that you've become really good at, but it just no longer speaks to you in the same way that it used to. So try not to be defensive with this new idea. Give it some room and really seek what serves you without looking at just how things could go wrong, but almost accepting things as they are and trusting that you're moving towards something that's your new path. This Judgment card, I love seeing that for you on the bottom of the deck. This is you realizing something new about yourself. So don't be defensive with it. Allow it. Trust it. It is here for a purpose. So you may as well explore that purpose. All right, Taurus, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it's been helpful. I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. Take care.